This is Tom Dillon, the Lifetime Liberal, and today is Wednesday, October 19th, 2016. The title of this rant will be, Let's Look Beyond the Election. And by that I mean, let's just assume that it's 3 weeks in the future from today. And let's just say, let's give a couple scenarios. Number one, let's just say that Hillary wins in a landslide. She has over 400 electoral votes, and she gets both the House and the Senate. What can we reasonably expect in the first 4 years of that Clinton administration? Number one, I would like to say that quite possibly we could get some very meaningful legislation passed. And by that, I would say increase in the minimum wage, possible comprehensive immigration reform, additional work on global climate change, and again, admitting that it is an actual thing and that we actually have to do things about it, and that we want to make the government strong so that it helps accelerate the way we can attack global climate change. That will also help business and also increase jobs. And of course, part of that would be is that we would want to increase the taxes on the rich, on the estate tax, on the carried interest tax. We also want to have a transaction tax on Wall Street high-speed transactions. Hopefully that'll bring in enough revenue to really kickstart the economy in terms of also, besides the things I just mentioned, heavy infrastructure investment. I think one other thing I'd like to say is hopefully she could also get in through some meaningful gun safety laws out there. So there's a lot of good things that she can do if she has that opportunity to do it. And these are things that we have needed for the past 35 years or more, and they have not come about. What's the biggest thing that came out the other day? And of course, I remember my dad telling me this in the late 80s and the early 90s, is that basically the value of the, I'm not going to mess this one up, is that the wage increases from a technical standpoint to inflation have not increased since 1973. So that's the big thing. And it will only be with the Democratic administration, and probably only be with the Democratic House and a Democratic Senate, that we can start alleviating these types of things. So what would happen if Hillary wins and it's mixed bag? Either House is still in the Republicans' hands, and let's just say the Senate's still in the Republican hands. Then I would anticipate a full scorched earth policy. If the Senate is still in the Republican hands, I could even venture to say that possibly there will be no Supreme Court justice throughout the entire Clinton administration, because they'll never bring it up. Can they be goaded into doing it? I don't know. Even if it hurts them. Because there is a possibility if a Supreme Court justice does come in, it will hurt them. So they don't care if it hurts. They don't care if it hurts them, as long as it doesn't help Hillary. Now, if Paul Ryan is still the Speaker of the House, that immoral, amoral Catholic who believes in Ryanism more than he does Catholicism, nothing good will come about in her administration, because he will bring nothing up at all. Now, I'm not even going to talk about Trump winning at this point, but where's he going to go? He's and his ilk are basically going to continue just like they had before, with incredible, outrageous conspiracy theories. So remember, Trump, his biggest claim to fame was that Obama wasn't born here, when we all knew that, and all the Republicans knew that. They just didn't want to say it because it sounded good, and as long as it might hurt Obama, that was okay with them, even though they knew that it wasn't truthful in any way, shape, and form. And if we look back just on a few of the things that came out of that they went after Bill Clinton about, if I remember correctly, they had that one big thing where there were all these landing strips in Arkansas, where all this drug stuff was coming in. That didn't even come remotely close to existing. They had all this stuff about Bill Foster killing himself. Remember when they had Travelgate just because they let go of the people who were in the travel office for whatever reason? Remember, Whitewater Gate was basically the fact that there was a hillbilly land deal, and Bill and Hillary were minor investors that they, what do they call that, silent partner type of investors. They weren't even heavily invested in this thing. And the land deal, as I like to call it, a hillbilly land deal that went bad. That's what got Ken Starr into the whole thing, and that's what took Bill down. Just keep imagining that stuff will come about all over the place. We'll have Alex Jones and his ilk with Donald, with Bannon, with everyone else throwing out incredible conspiracy theories. I could even see, let's just say, that them advocating and people actually believing that Hillary had a love child, so to speak. They'll probably come up with any man that ever touches Hillary in any way. They'll indicate that they are paramours, that type of thing. They'll jump all over her for her age, of her weight. Anything that she does will be highly, highly criticized all through her whole administration. And let's remember, if the Republicans still maintain the House, and also the Republicans still maintain, let's say, majorities in terms of governorships, House, and Senate in a number of those red states, we will continue to see claims of voter registration and ID laws in all of these states. We will continue to see laws against gay marriage, even with the Supreme Court decision. We'll have continued laws against LGBT freedoms, let's just say. And of course, we will continue to see just outrageous restrictions, against abortions, clinics, mostly Planned Parenthood in these states. When again, Planned Parenthood, 97% of what they do have nothing to do with abortion, but they help poor women. So we will continue to see white men in these red states dictating what should be done for poor white women and women of color, basically because they despise them. So if there's a nice landslide, I could see some meaningful, progressive legislation coming out of a Hillary administration. And if she does not win the House or the Senate, no Supreme Court justice, and nothing but a scorched earth policy from Paul Ryan. And remember, Paul Ryan may not be Speaker of the House within a couple of days after this election, depending upon how things might come out. So there's a lot that could happen after that. But the thing is, even if Hillary has the victory and it's a landslide, she must be pushed and pushed and pushed. And if she doesn't get either the House or Senate, all of the effort that has been made by all of the progressives and all of the Democrats has to be continued to be reinforced for 2018 and 2020. And also all of that work has to continue to be reinforced from 2017 through the election of 2018, because nothing will be easy if she doesn't have the House and the Senate.